What's going on, everybody? Texans fan in rehab here, running it back again with another exciting week about the Houston Texans in a week that was. Hey, happy tax day to everybody. I hope that you got your taxes filed. I know this is a big one for a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, especially for myself. So I've been down for a couple of days trying to make sure I got that taken care of. But I hope you guys get that taken care of as well. But let's get this thing going. Let's talk about the Texans, man. Texans have another boring or exciting, depending on your interpretation of it, press conference that went down yesterday where Nick Caserio essentially had to tell everybody, relax, relax. He said, he felt embarrassed about the fact he even had to bring it up, but he said he felt like Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street when he had to let everybody know he's not leaving. He's not bleeping leaving. And look, I don't think that there was any question in regard to that. I mean, the rumor mill is running crazy right now. It's a lot of downtime where a lot of media types are just having a whole lot of air and space that they got to fill as far as content for whoever they're working for. And so you hear a lot of stuff that's going around. And lately, what they've been trying to put their angle or put their direction towards is maybe what's going on in the front office. Maybe there's some dissension between the ranks between Coach D'Amico and Nick Caserio, and maybe there's something going on there. But the reality of the situation, nobody knows, man. I mean, it's airtight over there at NRG right now, and so that's really what's causing all of this. That you got a lot of people that have nothing to do and they're just trying to fill some content on the newspaper or the website or the streaming or whatever platform that they're on, and so they got to put something out there. So they're making up the stories right now, man. So you're hearing a lot of different things that are going around, and one of these things is definitely about what's going on with Nick Caserio. Now, pitch two on what happened in the press conferences, or what is, I guess, stirring up a little bit of news. People are breaking it down. Is that Nick Caserio actually addressed the fact that he's actually receiving phone calls in regard to the number 2 pick, and he's actually taking those phone calls. Now, if we just look at this from the global perspective, his job is the general manager. So he needs to be taking phone calls to see what people are going to say as far as what's their pitch, as far as what's their assessed value for the number 2 pick. Now, if somebody comes out there with an offer like what Carolina did to the Bears, and they just blow him completely away with what their offer is, I mean, he'd be a fool to not answer that phone call and maybe even just listen to it and maybe even consider it a time or two. That's his job, though. I mean, there's nobody else on the planet that has that job for the Houston Texans other than Caserio. So that's not really alarming news in any sense to anybody. It shouldn't make anybody jump on the edge of their seat and maybe wait for anything with any concern. Now, that said, what is going around is a lot of scuttlebutt going on with what's going on with the number 2 pick. There's a lot of layers to this, so I'm going to try to take my time and break this down carefully. Number one, a lot of things have been going on with the number 1 pick. Carolina has been, of course, speculated to be settled in and locked in on Bryce Young, but as of recent, there's been some news going around that says, a lot of people are thinking that Carolina actually might be locked in on Anthony Richardson, which is kind of surprising because Anthony Richardson, to all from all records that I've seen and everything, that he would probably be the third best option at quarterback for this draft, just above Will Levis. Now, to be determined. Again, I don't want to say that we've seen the best of what Anthony Richardson has to offer. He obviously was a beast at the combine, setting all the records as far as athletic records and stuff from the quarterback position. So that definitely holds some weight, and maybe the team is looking at it from the perspective that they can use that and utilize those skills and talents and take them to a whole nother level. And that may be. They may be looking at a guy like Bryce Young and saying that his potential is still definitely highest of the bunch, but maybe his ceiling is not as high as somebody like Anthony Richardson. So that's potentially a situation that might occur. Now, if that does occur and we are looking at possibly Bryce Young being available at the number 2 pick, now the number 2 pick is just really up in the air. I could see the Texans, if they have Bryce Young fall to number 2, taking Bryce Young. I mean, that would seem to me like that would be the obvious pick for them, even though I'm a Stroud guy. I think I was pretty well locked in mentally on them taking C.J. Stroud, but here we are, still a little less than 2 weeks away from the draft, so no telling what they're gonna do. But I mean, if that were to happen, you talk about draft being, disheveled, and what might happen moving forward with the rest of the picks, the trades that might come out of that. I mean, that's just one scenario. So then we go into the scenario that might involve, the Texans trading out of that pick. I'm sorry, not trading out of that pick, taking a defensive player at the number 2 pick. That's another thing that's been coming out. So I I want to say it this way, and I'm gonna choose my words carefully. We have already seen this play out, where the Texans take a top flight talent with the number 2 pick, and we don't have a top flight quarterback to support the team's overall growth and performance on the field. We saw that when they took Jadeveon Clowney, for example. Guy coming out of South Carolina who's a beast, and we didn't have the team to support him to get that talent utilized before his contract ran out and he moved on. We saw that with J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, he had those great years where he was basically the guy that was supporting the team, keeping us afloat for, an extended period of time. More time than what it should have taken for us to get on our feet. And I know we had Matt Schaub doing his thing at some point in time relevant to the talent that was on the field. He was having some outstanding performances and play on the field, but we can't say that Matt Schaub was elite level talent at the quarterback position, all things considered. So I look at what we might have as far as these opportunities to draft somebody at the quarterback position at the top of the draft. Like this is an opportunity that can't be wasted. We have to take advantage of this opportunity to get somebody that's going to be quality, or as we see as quality potentially, that they can do something for the long term for this franchise. And we need that quote unquote franchise player. So that's something that we definitely need to just get locked in now. Let's not play games with it. Let's not fool around with this thing, man. Let's just go and get this guy and do what we need to do moving forward. So I hope that the GM, Nick Caserio, would take that into consideration. Not that my words speak any volume to his ears, but I hope that he takes that into consideration with where we're going as a franchise, what we need moving forward, as opposed to look at it as a value play and to try to see what we can get to match up with, I guess additional picks or whatever. I mean, we have so many picks already. We really just need to fill out a good round, a good sound team to surround the quarterback and make this team be where we can be. I mean, he's already done a phenomenal job with pouring in vets, even on short-term deals, pouring in vets that can already do that. So it seems to me like if you got all of these guys coming in on short-term deals, you got the option to be able to extend them at some point later or re-sign them at some point later, that you want to take advantage and strike while the iron is hot to go ahead and get a quarterback that's going to, take your franchise to the next level. Now, we covered number 1 pick. We covered number 2 pick. Now let's cover the number 12 pick. Again, more rumors, right? So the rumors that have been out there have been basically that, we could trade out of the number 12 pick and trade back up to the number 7 pick. And in that scenario, that had us taking, say, a defensive end with the first pick, the number 2 pick rather, and then getting like a Will Levis with the number 7 pick. Not a big fan of that one, obviously, because you know how I feel about Will Levis, guys. I'm not buying the hype, man. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. I really don't have anything else to say about that. I feel like I've touched on that enough over the last couple of weeks that I'm not buying the Will Levis hype, and this trade back, trade up scenario for me is kind of foolish, because if you already got the number 2 pick the quarterback. Don't play games with it, man, because anything can happen between 2 and 7. Somebody can, trade up and grab up, the other 2 guys that will qualify, within the top 4 of the quarterbacks, and so you're left stuck out if that's the case. So don't play games around with it, man. Just go ahead and get the guy that you want. You got him locked in, and now go handle the rest of the draft as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you are going to stay in 12, what are the options, right? We could go wide receiver, because that's definitely a need. We could go defensive, a defensive player. I don't want to limit it to just the end, because there are other options out there at number 12 that might fit for that range at that selection point. But what I'm hearing is a lot of JSN talk, a lot of people that want to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then there's a lot of people that are thinking maybe Tyree Wilson might be there available at the number 12 spot. Either one, I'm completely fine with. But if we're talking rumors and upheaval here, listen, how dope would it be that if a guy like Bijan Robinson fell to 12, even though we have Dameon Pierce? I know we got Dameon Pierce, who's a quality starting running back, and we've seen him perform a little bit throughout the season, but it's only been 1 year. Number one. Number two, running back, career and lifespans is not very long. It doesn't hurt to have a whole stable of running backs so that you can have those options. And even though we have Devin Singletary, I almost said Dingleberry. Even though we have Devin Singletary here, I mean, he's the backup for 1 year. So, imagine if you could get a guy of the caliber of Bijan Robinson, that young, that talented, and team him up with Dameon Pierce until the duo doesn't work, until it's proven that it might not work. I mean, I think that would be a phenomenal option. You talk about upheaval in the draft, man. Like, people behind 12 would lose their minds with trying to figure out how to stop this team, man, between a brand new quarterback and a running crew that would be able to do what they do right there, man. I think that would be a really dope option. Now, is it reality? Probably not. I'm a realist when it comes to the Texans, man. I've been watching them for a long time, and I can say that I don't see them having that type of forethought. And if they do, listen, my family might take up to a whole nother level. We'll see. But I would love to have a cat like Bijan Robinson here, and then at that point, you got your running backs, you have your quarterback, and you have any choice of wide receiver that you want to kind of fill in the gaps, man. I mean, you could spend the next couple of picks focus on, center, defensive end, whatever you need, and then come back around in the third round and pick up a wide receiver. There's quality wide receivers at depth within this draft. So I think you could do a lot of those different things. Excuse me. I think you could do a lot of those different things and make sure that you take care of what the business is that needs to be taken care of for the team. So, last couple of things I want to cover before I get on out of here. There's some news about D-Hop that might be, he might have some interest in coming back to the team. And so, love D-Hop, love Nuke, man. We would ultimately, I'm sure most of the fan base would love to see him come back to the team. I don't think that we would necessarily have a problem with that as fans. However, the one stipulation that comes with that is at what price, right? D-Hop is still on the contract, so if we're gonna have to trade for D-Hop at his age, nah. Love you, D-Hop, for real, love you, bro. Like, but we can't having to take on that contract that you still have, man. And the Arizona Cardinals already got over on us once. We can't be fools and let them give it over on us twice. So it's one scenario if he's traded. It's another scenario if he's a free agent and he decides to come back here on his own. Then that's a totally different ball game, man. At that point, we would love to have him back, and especially if that's in concert with what might happen in the draft. Man, listen, you couldn't get a better wide receiver option for any quarterback that's just getting started than to have the option to throw it up to D-Hop, man. Come on, man. Are you serious? D-Hop with those 5X gloves, man, he's going to go get it, man. So, I will hope that, D-Hop might be considering the Texans in that scenario, but I don't want to play games with D-Hop in that contract, man. And, no hate to D-Hop, and I know the brother's got to get his paper, but it's just so much the Texans can take on, and where we are as a young franchise, where we are as a franchise that's trying to get these young talent, this young talent coming in to fill out our roster, plus with a young coaching staff, we really just need to get, kind of get this depth of talent going, and then we need to get them coached up and get them to grow. And then lastly, man, I'm new to this platform, relatively new to this platform, man. I'm always looking for new ways to improve, man. I'm always open to conversations with guys, whether it's here or on Twitter. I have a Twitter page, so, give me a follow there, man. Chop it up with me. I want to holler at you, man. I want to see what's going on with you, man. Give me some feedback. Tell me how I'm doing, man. What can I do to improve? What can I do to get better, man? just want to take this channel to a whole nother level before the season starts. Hopefully, when the season does start, man, again, I'm gonna have some live reactions to what's going on with the Texans after the game. I'm probably gonna hop on for 15-20 minutes to an hour. We'll see how that goes. When the draft comes around, I plan to be at a party when I'm drafting, but I'm definitely gonna try to go live and chop it up with the guys about what's going on with these draft picks, man. Who do you feel that they should have taken? What do you think about the team that they've put together? Where they going with the next pick? All of these things. So look forward to seeing a little bit more of me as things kind of progress and pick up. I'm definitely looking forward to chopping it up with you guys, man. Thanks to all my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys again coming soon. Texas Fan and Rehab, I'm out.